So Councillor Martin is unmuted. And then I have Councillor Abrahimzade's hand up. Councillor Martin, did you want to move your motion?
Yes, Lord Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Abrahimzade, you had your hand up.
Do you want to second the Lord Mayor?
Councillor Abrahimzade had his hand up, so.
Lord Mayor, I'm not seconding. I'm wondering whether if you're able to defer this item, but I'm not sure what the actual process is here. Whether if Councillor Martin should get a seconder first before I defer, or
I'll second.
Councillor Snape, you'll second to defer?
Yes.
Yes.
No, sorry. Second Councillor Martin's motion.
Okay. So, Jenny, if there's a move to defer, do I just need a seconder and we go to the vote?
We've got a mover and a seconder for Councillor Martin's motion. So so now if there's a motion to defer, that is essentially like an amendment. So it needs to be dealt with as an amendment, essentially. So if Councillor Abrahimzadeh is moving that as an amendment, that's fine. Then he'll need a seconder for that amendment. Okay, but does Councillor Martin and Councillor Snape speak first? Yes, they can. Yes. Thank you, Lord Mayor. Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Martin, if you'd like to speak to your motion.
Yes, thank you, Lord Mayor. And look, I am truly grateful to the administration and to councillors for coming together in this way. It is exactly what I hoped for when I raised this issue, that is that we would work together to do something to assist business in this city. And I'm grateful to the administration also for acknowledging that what we're seeing is a substantial problem that is COVID related unquestionably, but is being driven by a change in behaviours, so that work from home, a trend that financial institutions are saying was likely to happen over the next 10 years or so, has been compacted into a very short space of time. It is a substantial social change, and the administration's recognition of that and preparation to do something more meaningful about that is pleasing to hear, as indeed is the proposal by the administration to halve the Rundle Mall management levy by 50%. That's also a welcome initiative. But look, this is a much greater problem than all of those small initiatives that we've been talking about are likely to achieve. You know, we are effectively proposing much of what we've always done: meal vouchers, free lunch, free dinner, discount, parklets, free parking. It is all designed to make the city attractive, but the city is unattractive. It is unattractive because there is a pandemic raging. People are concerned about coming into the city because of the high rate of COVID infection. And that's unlikely to change. We've heard the Premier say tonight that the restrictions will continue for some period. I'm not sure to what extent I can discuss that, but nevertheless, the restrictions are likely to continue. Even if we reach a peak, there will still be thousands of people contracting COVID well into February and March of this year. And consequently, people will not come to the city. And we have businesses who will be denied the income that they need in order to pay their rent, in order to pay themselves a wage, in order to keep the door open. And the most effective thing we can do for them is, as is proposed, is offer them a financial incentive. The state government is barely offering $3,000 to a business that's had a 30% reduction in turnover. $3,000. As one business in the city put it quite recently, well, that's not even a week's wages for me. That's not going to help me. For some businesses, their rates contribution for a fairly average business in this city, a hotel or something, is $40,000, $50,000 a year, and therefore a refund of 1/4 represents 4 or 5 times what the state is offering. And given that this city is in such great financial shape, thanks to you, Lord Mayor, and your colleagues, we have a balanced budget. Councillor Hyde's made it clear that we'll be out of debt, no debt whatever, in a couple of years. So here's an opportunity for us to demonstrate to our stakeholders that we can back them. We have the financial capacity, we have the will to do so. And additionally, there are measures in this that will, I think, instill confidence in people to come into the city. For example, changing traffic lights so that pedestrian crossings are automated.
That was the bill, Councillor Martin. I'm sorry.
I'd like a minute more, if I may, Lord Mayor.
Members, show of hands. Yep. Thank you.
So measures such as automating pedestrian crossings so that people aren't touching them and spreading COVID, but additionally encouraging people to understand that we in the city care about their well-being, and so we're increasing cleansing of public spaces, not driven by demand, not driven by suddenly there's an extra 1,000 people in the mall, so we'll clean it better, but cleaning to a high standard at all times. Now, these measures, I think, are substantial. I would ask members to support these. If you're not going to support these, then come up with something that's worthwhile, something that is original, not just defer. A deferral, as I know is coming, is just an escape from something that's uncomfortable. Our ratepayers expect us to do something better than defer. They want us to adopt concrete measures that will help them now, not next week, next month, whenever, not more of the same, free lunches and things of that nature. Something substantial, something meaningful.
Thank you. Councillor Snipe, just unmute you.
Thank you, Lord Mayor, and thank you to all the councillors and my fellow elected members and staffers here today for coming together at such speed. This is a major crisis we are dealing with as a nation and as a city, and it's clearly that we have to move fast if we want to save as many businesses as possible going forward. That's why I urge members to take tonight's meeting seriously, take it full gusto. Let's pass as many of these proposals as possible. Take them one by one if we have to, and let's go through them and deal with it. But I would urge members to not defer this and to take this opportunity and go for it. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Snipe. Deputy Lord Mayor, you were next. I've seen your hand, Councillor Moran.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. I move that we defer this this item to a future meeting, and I would like to propose a date of this Friday, 21st of January.
Friday, 21st. Do you have a seconder?
I will seek a seconder.
So, Councillor Ho, I saw your hand go up. Did you want to speak to the deferral?
I would, Lord Mayor, just briefly. I think it would be irresponsible of us to make a decision on the fly. We all received council administration commentary around about 5 p.m. and around about 5 p.m. was the time that our CEO briefing essentially started. So without considering the commentary and the full impact of what's before us, I think it would be irresponsible for us to go ahead and adopt these measures. So I would like us to consider council administration's commentary, but also all the information that we've been provided in the briefing tonight, in the CEO briefing. There's been a number of measures that our administration have put up. They've evaluated the impact of some of these initiatives, and it's good that some of these initiatives are being continued, but I would just like to take everything that's been given to us tonight and really have a good think about exactly what the best way forward is.
Thank you. Councillor Ho, did you wish to speak?
Yes, just quite very brief. Like, I mean, the intention of the deferral, is really not about to like a strategy to vote the motions down. I mean, I understand the good intention behind. All right. However, like few items on the motion, I think we have discussed some of it before, and I actually vote for it before. However, things are changing so quickly, and I'd like to give you a detail. I need to think about it. I mean, and spend more time to think about it and see whether or not like that is worth me to support it again, or or make some changes on it. And just receive the admin's feedback like really this afternoon. I haven't got enough time to deal with it. All right, so I prefer the deferral, and at least for a few days I can think about it, get some feedbacks from the stakeholders as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Moran and then Councillor Martin.
Oh, thank you. Look, Councillor Martin sent us this motion some time ago, and it has been outlined in the media quite extensively. So it was plenty of time for councillors to get extra information. I suspect that the majority of the fractional majority will not vote for this, and it's just delaying the inevitable. I suggest that we don't vote for the deferral, but we take the motion in parts, and those of you there that can't face the big hard decisions can vote on pedestrian walk buttons and things like that, and perhaps defer what you want to. But this has been around for a while. This is an urgent situation. You're voted in to make the hard decisions on the fly sometimes. But as none of you, Simon, have rung the administration to get extra information, I say you've had plenty of time, and I don't think you'll be. I suspect you won't bring the administration to get extra information till the 21st, because you're already decided to vote against it. But I think I will absolutely vote against the deferral. Let's deal with this now. It's a situation that you were put in this chamber to deal with. It's a bit harder than we expected, but this is what our job is. You can't hide behind the administration. You have to make the decision. So let's make it tonight.
Thank you. Councillor Martin, you were next.
Yes, a quick question first, Lord Mayor, if I may. Am I to understand that the motion that we see before us, 4.1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, is to be deferred to a special council meeting this Friday? Is that correct?
That's my understanding, yes. So that that there's time to digest the information that came through the briefing that may change the motion.
Okay,
or add to it.
So the motion is for the special meeting that's been called to consider the resolution be deferred to a special meeting to consider the resolution at a later date.
Correct. That is correct.
Well, look.
Oh, sorry. Pardon.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm happy to speak to that. Well, look, this is the first time I have attended a special meeting at which it's been proposed to defer the special meeting for another special meeting. And so I'm not quite sure how to receive it. But look, I'll accept it with a sense of goodwill. I can hear that Councillor Ho is thinking about supporting this. I do expect that our ratepayers will be disappointed, because I know some of them are waiting for this kind of support. And indeed, I was talking to one today who was particularly pleased about the second point, which was to establish a team of expertise to assist him in negotiating with his landlord for a lower rental. The poor man has turnover down by about 40%. A landlord who's offering a 10% rent reduction, where all his neighbours, and I understand this does have significant impact, I think, for our long-term revenue, all his neighbours are being offered rent reductions of around 30 and 40%. So people like him will be disappointed. But look, if the motion is coming back as it is on Friday, And it will be a Zoom meeting, is that correct, Lord Mayor?
It will be. We'll be on Zoom for the next week or so.
Well, look, Lord Mayor, I'm prepared to accept with reluctance what's being proposed. It's just disappointing that we are, as I say, having another special meeting to consider the special meeting matter that was.
Thank you, Councillor Martin. I just in response to one of your comments, as part of the briefing, I think we were given the advice that Business SA does have that service available at the moment to people that are in strife. So if you do have ratepayers speaking to you and they need assistance in terms of negotiating rents, if you could refer them to our partnership with Business SA and the services that are currently being offered.
I have done that, Lord Mayor, and they are complaining that Business SA is useless in this regard. So,
well, thank you. I have Councillor Mackie, then Councillor Hyde, then Councillor Kira. Councillor Mackie. Oh, my apologies. I just clicked at the same time as you. Thank you.
Thanks, Lord Mayor. Look, firstly, just a question, just to be absolutely clear, has Councillor, the Deputy Lord Mayor's motion to defer been seconded, and is that now the motion we're debating? It has been, and that is the motion we're debating. It was seconded by Councillor Ho. Okay, thank you. Then just very, very briefly, firstly, I want to commend Councillor Martin for the speed with which he brought together his motion, and whether we're debating it now or at a second special meeting on Friday, there's much of it, not all, but much of it that of which I'm supportive. I had some technical difficulties and was unable to access the Teams part of the briefing with the Premier. I was able to listen to the second half, so I'm not as fully briefed as those who did catch that. And if Councillor Martin is reluctantly willing to accept deferral, while I agree with him that our ratepayers will be disappointed given the media has given account of us coming to make a decision this evening, I will look forward to engaging on this very important subject at another meeting if the deferral motion succeeds.
Thank you. Councillor Hyde.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Just regarding this, I do think it's prudent to defer the matter that's in front of us. I think we were given a wealth of information only a couple of hours ago by our administration. Just to Councillor Moran's point about people availing themselves of data so they can make an evidence-based decision. I think some of my colleagues would know that there was a lot of information requested. Some of that information regarding spend data and habits and particular sectors of the economy that have taken a hit has not actually been made available yet by the firms that collect that, and the CEO referred to that in her briefing. So those are the projections that she referred to. So I do think this is one of the most important decisions and packages we'll deliver this year, other than the yearly budget. And because of that, I don't think it's something that should be rushed. I do think we need to defer so that we can improve the suggestions in front of us, and we need to improve those suggestions because take point 2, for example, establish a team with legal.
No, we're not debating the motion before us. We're just debating whether we're deferring or not.
Lord Mayor,
I'm not having any debate on the motion before us.
Lord Mayor, it's an amendment. So it's debated as an amendment. And so I am justifying why the motion reads to defer and then the original motion. And thus I'm saying why I think we need to defer this motion. That's one of is substantive debate. As you've said, Business SA do have experts available. The Small Business Commissioner also has experts available, Lord Mayor. In fact, that's one of the roles of that statutory authority. So for us to go and duplicate that service and waste our valuable resources, I think would be silly. Number 3, establish an immunisation booster clinic.
Councillor Hyde, you are talking to the deferral or not? We are not debating the motion tonight. I'm sorry.
We need to improve the motion in front of us because these suggestions quite simply are not going to achieve the aims that is purported that they would achieve, Lord Mayor. So there are other things there which are quite easily done and do not require a motion of council to achieve them, and other things that wouldn't achieve their aims. Take, for example, we are essentially being asked here, and this is why, Lord Mayor, if I can link it back, this is why we need to defer, because the original motion is effectively asking us to hand out $15 million plus in money back to ratepayers. And I think that would actually be a massive abrogation of our responsibility to simply hand money back and say, okay, here you go, small business, you're on your own now. Yeah, we took your money, we've given you your money back now. We're not going to help you any further and just wash your hands of the problem. That's how I see it, Lord Mayor. And any business, every business that I've spoken to actually isn't so fussed about getting their $200 or $300 for this quarter in rates back, because really that is incredibly minor compared to what they've lost due to a downturn in revenue, due to a downturn in footfall. What they want, what businesses want, is for us to bring people back into the city, because they know that that is what is ultimately going to drive their sales back up and drive the revenue back up. And I see Councillor Martin shaking his head, but that's the reality. Every business that I've spoken to is asking for people to come back. And for people to come back, we need to be investing in those sorts of programs, those sorts of activations, and that ultimately has to happen after the peak has occurred, when case numbers are coming down, because that's the way that this has to go. If you look at any other capital city in the world that has gone through a similar and the same things in this global pandemic, that's what has to happen. And it's incumbent upon us to spend our finite resources on getting people back into...
That's time, Lord Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Kira.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Can I be heard?
You can.
Yes, thank you. I'm extremely in favour of us looking at everything we can do to help particularly small businesses who are inordinately affected at the moment. For example, I'm in favour of a rates rebate of some sort. I think it ought to be more tailored than what's being proposed tonight. Having said that, I'm also in favour of deferring this for a few days for the reasons set down by the Deputy Lord Mayor and other speakers. I think they are not mutually exclusive, and to cast a decision to defer by a few days as simply being negative about the proposal to help the city is, I think, inaccurate and completely unhelpful. So I will be here on the Friday. I think if we care about the city, we ought to be prepared to come here on a Friday night and forego our socialising on a Friday night, and we ought to make the sacrifices that some of us may be reluctant to do. I think we ought to come in on a Friday. It's only a few days from now, and we do need the administration to be able to prepare. I haven't even received the administration comment on this particular motion. So as I've made clear, I'm in favour of rates rebates, but a few days deferral does not mean that we are negative about wanting to help. So I will be supporting the deferral to this Friday.
Now, Councillor Martin, you have already spoken. So I just need to check. So I think that's Councillor Moran. Is that your hand up, Councillor Moran?
Lord Mayor, I just have a question.
Yes.
When I spoke, I didn't realise that we could talk to the original motion, which I totally...
No, we're talking to the deferral.
But you've let Jessie Carer talk about it.
And I'd let Councillor Martin also talk about it. I keep asking people not to talk to the motion, to talk to the deferral.
They got a lot out, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. All of them did.
Lord Mayor, I can move a procedural.
I think I'll put you all on mute. If anybody else would like to speak to the deferral, if we could please actually either speak to the deferral or we will go to the vote, and I will go back to the Deputy Lord Mayor to sum out.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. I think we've heard plenty of good reasons from previous speakers about why we should be deferring. And I'll stress again, I don't think it's responsible for us to sit here and discuss something that is going to cost us, well over $20 million in lost revenue, and that's only at a quick snapshot. There's a lot to consider. We have been given a lot of information. Our staff have done a wonderful job in preparing the presentation that we were given tonight, and I think there is a lot of information in that presentation that needs to be considered and digested. And I'm hopeful that we can do that on Friday. Do I need to specify a time?
No, we'll do that.
No, okay.
Yep.
In that case, I'll leave that as it is, and I'll again urge councillors to support this deferral.
Okay, members, to the vote, I need a show of physical hands, please. Those in favour. That is, Jenny, can you see all the hands? I'm not sure I can see everybody at the same time.
If we can just, so I had six.
Yeah, that is carried.
One,
yep.
two, three.
One, two, three.
Division.
Council members, a division has been called on the motion. All those in favour of the motion, please raise your actual hand and keep it raised until all names have been called. Sorry, in favour of the amendment, I might add. Councillor Abrahimzadeh, Councillor Knoll, Councillor Kira, sorry, Deputy Lord Mayor, it was Councillor Kira, Councillor Kouros, Councillor Ho, Councillor Hyde. That's carried. Thank you.
Thank you, members. We have one other item on the agenda tonight.
Sorry, Lord Mayor, that's a substantive. We do still need a vote. That was an amendment for the deferral, so we just need to vote now. I know it's a strange thing, but it's actually treated as an amendment.
Okay. All right. So that becomes a substantive. I will go back to now. Does Councillor Martin get to sum up then? That is the question. Or do we just go to the vote?
Yes, he does get to. Councillor Martin gets to sum up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
Well, look, thank you, Lord Mayor, for thinking of me.
I think of you often, Councillor Martin.
Oh, I'm sure you do, Lord Mayor, and in the nicest possible way, I'm sure. Look, I am disappointed by this. I do think a rate rebate is something that we can do. Quite contrary to the assertions of people like Councillor Hyde that it's $200 or $300 and people don't want the money, they want people back in the city. This has actually been a recognition, the proposal that I put forward, that people are not coming back into the city, that we need to actually find some money that will help to tide business over until the point at which we can work to actively bring people to the city. Now, I don't discount all of the initiatives that have been put up. I think some of them are well worthwhile and people will come back, but not yet. They are too frightened. We're not in lockdown, but we're in fear of the city of Adelaide. The ghost town is having an impact on the functioning of businesses. And whatever direct financial assistance we can give them, whether it is that 50% or whether someone wishes to amend it to 25 or make it $5,000 per business or whatever, I don't care.
I will ask you the same thing, Councillor. We're talking to the deferral.
As indeed Councillor Hyde was and Councillor
Correct.
Kira.
Yes, and you before that.
Yeah, and I'm also talking to the deferral too. It would just be nice for the city to see that we do care and that we can reach into our pockets without denigrating the offer, priming people for the possibility they're not going to get it, that they're just going to get more parklets, more dinner vouchers that no one's going to use because people don't want to come to the ghost town. They're frightened. This is a measure that will help business, I believe. And if it has to wait until Friday, then so be it. I would prefer we did it now.
Members, to the vote, those in favour. Need a show of hands. Those against.
Division.
Council members, a division has been called on the motion. All those in favour, please raise your hand and keep it raised until all names have been called. Councillor Knoll, Deputy Lord Mayor, Councillor Kira, Councillor Kouros, Councillor Ho, Councillor Hyde.
Thank you. Members, we have one further item to be considered this evening that will be considered in confidence. I need a motion to exclude. This is for 6.1, the Parklands licence request, and I'll look for a mover. Thank you, Councillor Knoll, and I look for a seconder. Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. Members, does anybody wish to speak to the item, to the confidence? No? If not, I'll go back to the move to sum up. Councillor Knoll. Members, to the vote, those in favour, by show of hands. So, Councillor Mackie, Councillor Snape, Councillor Martin, I need to see your hands. Those in favour, those against. Jenny, did you get that?
Yes, that was carried.
Yeah, I know it was carried. Did you get that? Did you get where there people put their hands up?
Yes, I did. Sorry, Lord Mayor. Yes.
And I just would like to remind people, if I can't see you, if your camera's not on, you are taken to have left the meeting. So staff and members of the public, we will now go into confidence. So we will cease streaming until this item is